Well, welcome, drum corps fans, to the post show for the DCI 2025 Drums Along the Rockies show. Just concluded and scores were announced just a short bit ago. And good morning, good Sunday morning to all my East Coast fans out there, as it is 12:15 in the morning. So anyway, we're going to try to just blaze right through. First thing I'm going to do here, give you guys the scores. So I'm just going to run them right down without even pausing. So in fifth place tonight was the Blue Knights with 65.95. 65.95. In fourth place with the 67.75, the Troopers. In third place with a 68.25, the Colts. In second place with a 75.40, the Blue Devils. And in first place with a score of 76.20, the Boston Crusaders. So there you go, folks. Those are the scores. Interesting things there. Some people are saying they're a little bit low. I don't know. It's first show and all that good stuff. I think, that's a little early to kind of say things like that, I believe. But anyway, definitely an interesting show. I made a bunch of notes here about each corps. I'm going to just kind of blaze through it all. So please do pardon me for just kind of flying through this part of this thing, but it's been a long day and all that good stuff. So, so we're just going to blaze on through, and I'm going to be reading off camera here a little bit about each corps. So just some observations. So for the Troopers, great opening of the show from all the sections, and I was very happy to see. It looks like a change with the guard team there really shows, because there was a great flag and rifle strong toss right from the start. So that was good to see. And I kept seeing great flag work throughout. Look, pretty in sync for this time of year. So, and again, that was a troubled area there as last year. There's great high brass and mellow feature on side one. And there's a really one of those famous really strong, long tone mellophone sounds, chords. Beautiful, really, really nice. They did something like that later on in the show. The mellophones did like an extended note, and that didn't go as well as the first time. Maybe a little fatigue, I'm not sure, but wasn't as clear as far as the tone goes. Visually, they're really spread out, the Troopers, a good part of the show. And I think part of that's not always just the horn line and the drum line. It's also the guard kind of like pushes them out further too. So, quite spread out. There's some really nice baritone, I guess you could say. Barry, horn guy, I always use the little abbreviations. And euphonium solo, although there were some miking issues with them, but they do sound like they're going to be amazing, beautiful solos. The solos did a great job and just kept plowing through, even with technical issues. There were actually quite a few technical issues with drum corps tonight in this show. And I wouldn't want to say that all of them had little issues with miking or sound stuff, but most of them did. So overall, a nice show and a good vibe. But I will say this, and I'm not alone on this one, because I was hanging out on some of the drum corps interwebs and discussions, is it's a nice show, but it doesn't feel like it's part of this series, and it doesn't have that same kind of, I guess you could say, theatrical movie kind of style feel to it yet. Anyway, I'll just say yet, because it is so early, but it just doesn't really musically feel like it's part of the same storyline. But anyway, Troopers should be interested to see where they land. They'll probably, again, this is really early prediction, but they'll probably stay right where they are. Placement wise, most likely. They may lose a spot. I'm not sure, but there we go. On to the next corps. This was a big surprise. I think a lot of people were a little surprised by the Colts. They came out big and strong right from the start. Their brass line is amazing. It has been amazing, but the last couple of years they took a little time to get their stride. They just, from minute one in this show and in this year, are really out there, and they do some great brass features, especially for the first contest, as they say. So the high view of the visual effects with the uniform seems to work very well. I have no idea what that would look like in row 15 of the stadium kind of thing, but if you're up high, and when they went to high cam and they kind of do the red versus, other color type scheme with the uniform, then, you really do see the effect of it. And people feel in the bright lights of Lucas Oil, in an indoor dome with a black curtain background, that it's really going to stand out quite nicely. So we shall see. That remains to be seen. Overall, again, I felt this core was super prepared, super strong and confident. And I'll tell you what, musically speaking, I think overall, excuse me, was probably, I think of the five cores, my most enjoyable core overall. That's one that you could watch a couple times and it grows on you, right? That's kind of the vibe I got from the Colts. So bravo to you, Colts, for coming out so strong. So here we on to the Blue Devils. Again, unusual for them to go on, kind of third from last, but that's just the draw they had. And the Blue Knights, this was their show, so they opted to go on last, as most cores do when they're hosting a show. So really good build at the beginning of this show and of Kashmir into the first big hit. They definitely let you know right away they are a top core, right, with the maturity of that moment of building a moment like that. Nice. High Note kind of lost the end of that a little bit at the end of a tune there with one of the high trumpet solo players, but he'll be fine. It's just a slightly off play tonight with a high note, but it's effective. It really does sell that moment. Some nice section features in the pit as well. And the core is has a couple of features of like quartet of horn players. I think it's a quartet of baritone players, and then like a quartet of mellophone and trumpet players. So during that section of the show, there's a really good pit feature that's kind of going on there, and definitely a different vibe and different set of chords and just overall musical flow to this show than the typical Blue Devil show. And that's refreshing. I can tell you that for sure, because it's, their formula is their formula, but they've changed it up a bit this year, it seems. And, it's be interesting to see where they take it. Also, the interesting side note was that early season, again, most all the cores have to clean for sure, but Blue Devils had a little bit of a tear with timing and phasing between the percussion and the horn line at times, which was not too many times, but a couple of times I noticed that. The ballad, I'm not really getting the flow from that yet, although, maybe there's some changes in the works and all that good stuff, but just not feeling it yet. There is a nice moment with all flags in the center of the field. This is toward the end of the show. And then they kind of push out to make into a circle, and then the brass goes into the middle. Just a really nice flag feature right there. And speaking of the props, well, I don't know if I mentioned the props, but they look like giant chairs to start out with, but then they kind of lay them down and spread them out and do different things with them. I think that's pretty cool to have a prop that actually is kind of functional and does different things. So instead of just staring at you or doing one thing. So very good. Very interesting Blue Devils. I'm not sure that's a championship caliber show. We will not know for a while yet, I don't think. All these cores have lots of changes I'm sure they're going to make and lots of cleaning to do. So on to Boston Crusaders. So lots of, I'll tell you what would stand out right away. Big, strong statement with the whole core, especially the color guard. They're just unbelievable, almost inhuman in many ways, I think. But what I noticed was a lot of very small groups and even full sections of the horn line features, and quite highly technical features. And they've done a few of these, even in last year's show, basically a Glitch. There were some of these, and even in White Whale when they did that show. But there's a lot of them. I mean, there's a ton of them. Maybe they'll make some changes. But really, I mean, there's a group of 4 or 6 horns, and then there's another group of 6 horns. Then there's a whole section of horns doing features all throughout the show. There's a really cool moment where the whole core horn line makes an accompany front and really opens up and makes a very one of those defining kind of drum corps moments. Very powerful. There's a really cool. There's like a section of the show that's kind of lighthearted and kind of playful, and there's a really good tuba feature in there. It's not ready yet. It's still got a ways to go. But and then there's also an amazing trumpet feature in that section too. So that part is going to be high energy and very almost like similar to like Glitch, who was that high energy section of their show last year, and I see that being similar to this. It'll be a real real crowd pleaser. Really good French horn soloist in the ballad, and they might have had some miking issues. It sounded like some popping sounds of popping. Maybe that was just the flow thing. Maybe it was, maybe it was the Boston's thing. I'm not sure. But during that time, there was also a baton feature going on in the ballad, and then they go right back to full speed ahead and feature the drum line a bit as they close out the show and to the finale. So here we go, Blue Knights, last core. Sorry, guys, I'm just kind of blazing through this, but it's been a long day and all that good stuff. But Blue Knights really started nice with a big opening and on all flags for the color guard, so they got your attention right away. The color palette's interesting. They have kind of this burnt orange kind of core proper, and then the color guard's wearing like blue, so that it's basically the show is called Drip, so it's supposed to be pipes and water and all that kind of stuff, and that's very evident throughout the show actually, because you hear the sound of drips throughout, sometimes a little more subtle than others, and even in the beginning it sounded like to me there was like a reverb almost on the horn line itself, or at least an echo, a very slight echo, almost like you were inside of a giant pipe somewhere, kind of thing. At least that's what my ears were hearing. So crowd was a little bit slightly tepid, even though it was a home core, home state, all that good stuff. But after seeing the Blue Devils and the Boston Crusaders and whatever back to back, so and going on after that is no small feats, right? So there is the first time we saw an oboe out there, was an oboe soloist in the ballad. I think they had a bit of a miking issue too, but you still could hear it, which was fine. I don't know, you know what? And like Blue Devils had a soprano saxophone solo at the beginning of the show. I'm not too sure that these really add much to it, to be totally honest with you. I mean, really, it's a number of horn voices, whatever it be, a trumpet, a mellophone, or whatever, could easily take that solo, and it wouldn't make a big difference. Like it's but again, everyone wants to experiment with something new. It's a new toy to play with. So I mean, whatever it is, I kind of showing my old legacy fan style of opinion there, but I just don't think it's necessary, and we'll see where it goes. And really, I think those are the only two cores I've seen so far out of like what I think it's about 9 core performances I've seen that feature something like that. Troopers, who put in, I think, for that rule change, I didn't see anything or hear anything yet from them that was different. So remains to be seen, of course. It's very early on. That's basically it, folks. Just kind of a quick, I guess you could say, recap. Sorry if it's a little hard to follow or whatever. Hope you got a couple things out of that. Definitely maybe go back and listen and just, put some notes down to things to look forward to, or, again, I don't know. It's so early on that cores may remove some of these sections and highlights that I made, but I don't think they will remove half of them, maybe, because there are significant moments that I have pointed out in the shows that stood out to me. So with all that, thanks for all the support. If you haven't already, please do try to subscribe and leave a like or a comment or something, and thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever makes your world go round, as we say. But really would appreciate any feedback you can give too. We will be doing a kind of a weekly wrap-up show. I'll kind of explain in that, but it's going to be kind of Monday late in the day, early evening is when that will drop in a couple of days. So look forward to that. It's basically I'm going to be looking at all the wonderful drum corps content creators out there and just kind of summarizing what they each have put up on their channels. I'll say, hey, you know what? The On the Back Hash crew, they talked about this, this, and this. Go check them out. And that's going to be the extent of it. The On a Water Break crew talked about this past week. Go check it out. And there'll be links to each of whoever I mentioned in that update news show that will, again, post on Monday, probably early evening. So that's it for now, folks. Hope you have a great, safe, fun rest of your weekend. And yeah, it's great to have Drum Corps back here. Really, we got a long, long way to go, of course, in a short time, I guess, but so many cores yet to see, and so many changes yet to come. Hope you'll hang around this channel. I am the Drum Corps guy. Been around forever, this activity. I'm 52, and I've been around for 42 years. So there you go. I just love it, love it, love it. So take it easy, folks. All right. Cheers.